Alrighty. Hello. Good afternoon. I hope you had a great lunch, and I hope you've had interesting sessions as you've logged in. My name is Janette Mijares, and today's session is on Canva for the win. And so it's just a lot of different tips and tricks that I have for you to be able to use in your classroom to either make your lesson planning or just lessons in general more engaging for your students with different activities. It's a lot that's jammed into 1 hour, so I'm going to go kind of fast. It is recorded, and I'm also going to provide you with the link to the actual presentation just in case you didn't catch it or you missed it by any chance or you just don't remember after the session. You're more than welcome to go ahead and check that out. And so you'll see in just a second what I mean. So like I said, my name is Janette Mijares. I am at Berta Palacios Elementary. I've been there for 11 years. I'm the science lab teacher, and for the past 10 years, I've also been our CIT. And so I love technology. I love the different innovation that comes with it and all of that. I'm a big fan of technology, but I also know that it can be very overwhelming. So what I try to do for myself as well, I love technology and I love learning about all these different websites and tools to use, but I know that once you have your plate full, you can't just keep adding more. And that's just kind of the way I feel. So I give out as much information as I can. But in my classroom, I try to keep it very simple. Canva has been one of the best tools that I've seen so far. It updates very quickly. It once it sees it needs a little bit more or it's lacking in any area, they're really great about going in and adding different tools and different applications to it in order for you to be able to use them, which is something that I love. One of the things that I do enjoy is how well it's designed for teachers and how easy it is for them. And so right now, in just a second, I'm going to be able to show you some of those things. And so we're going to get started. Today, we are going to be going over 4 different things. It's going to be Canva AI. So we're going to see the different options that Canva has that uses artificial intelligence. We do have student reporting, which is something that I use in my classroom in order for my students to practice, especially for those that are taking TELPIS for bilingual students, and then those that also have the speech to text for STAR. That's a great practice as well. We will also see how you can make different slides interactive, some of the things and some of the options that they have, and the PDF editor. And so we're going to go through that. Like I said, each slide does have a recording where I have been able to go through and explain to you just in case you forget or you don't remember exactly how to access it. And you don't want to go back to this whole session. You're able to do that in this slide. I do talk very fast, so if you feel like you missed something or I'm going really fast, let me know. I know we only have an hour, but I know that in some ways or another, I can help you kind of get back and so that we're all on the same page. Like I did mention at the very beginning, if you do have another device, I do recommend that you have them. That way you can actually do the kind of play with the buttons as I'm showing you. I feel like sometimes when you do that, it's easier to remember as compared to you just staring or looking at it. So yeah, we're going to get started. We're going to start first with Canva AI. I'm going to go through them really quick, and then I'll show you the actual view on the website. And so for Canva AI, we do have the magic media, which is basically where it generates different images for you that can go with text prompts or anything like that. This is especially really great for the lower grades because if you are kind of using that creative expression or you're trying to do mental images or anything like that, the magic media allows you to go through and create these images, and I'm going to show you in just a bit. It's really neat. You will also have AI voice. This is where you're able to get a script basically for or use your presentations as a script, and then you can put it into AI and it will read it for the kids. That's also really neat. Then we have Magic Write, which allows you to generate text. It allows you to edit text very quickly. It can rewrite it for you. It can simplify. It can make it wordier. Whatever it is that you're looking for, you're able to do. And then you're also able to use just regular Canva AI, which makes presentations for you, different templates. It'll generate them for you already without you actually having to worry about anything else. So that's the section on Canva AI. And then you're also going to talk about the student recording. So I'm going to show you how to create the template and how to have your students access it in order to be able to record in there. Like I said, this is great practice for TELPUS and for STAR. I know the kids get really nervous or they're really shy. I work with 4th and 5th graders, and the moment you put a microphone to them, it's like everything has frozen and they don't know what to say. Even though it's written down or anything, they freeze, they get shy, they don't want their friends to hear them. But it is what it is, right? But I feel like the more exposure we give them, the better they are at actually going in and being able to express themselves much easier. And then we also have the interactive lessons. Like I said, you're able to add questions, you're able to add polls to them, you're able to add different sheets and tables and all that kind of stuff. It's interactive, you're able to see it live. So the moment that somebody starts responding, you're able to see the responses, which I think is really great. And then we're gonna go, sorry, this one, like I said, it does have videos. I'm sorry. Where'd it go? So sorry, you can view these afterwards, but it does have videos and I explain and I go step by step. I will send you a copy of this at the very end. If for some reason the videos are not working, just let me know and I'll update it. I don't have to send you a new link or anything. It's Canva, so it does it live. So I think that's also really great. And then the last thing I have to do, or we're gonna go over, it's the PDF editor. And so this is where you will get original PDF items, and then we'll drag them into AI or to Canva, and we'll be able to make those different different designs and kind of edit them. So we'll show you in just a bit. So now that I've showed you what you will have access to, we're going to go through and actually work live on the Canva website. And so right now, if you have your computer or your tablet or whatever it is that you're using, go ahead and take it out. That way we can work on this together and you can kind of get a feel for the motions as well. So the first thing we're going to go is we're going to go over Canva AI. So I'm just going to open a new tab. I'm going to show you in real life so that you see how easy it is to access it and you don't really have to break your head on anything. So what we're going to do is going to go to canva.com and it's going to open up your Canva. If you've never set it up, just set it up. We do have unlimited access because of our teacher account. So this is not something you have to purchase or something that you have to add anything to. It's just all available to you. It's free, which I think is fantastic. And then from there, what we're going to do is you're going to see that you have all of these buttons right here. And these are more for when you start working on the actual project. And then if you see, these are my recent designs. These are different things that I've made throughout the year or days or whatever you're kind of going through. These are different designs. And we're going to go through some in just a bit, so you'll see exactly what that means. But I want you to focus on right now is Canva AI, and it's here on the top. So when you click your designs, it will shift everything to the designs that you have created or you have worked on. And then if you go to templates, these are templates that are pre-made by Canva and you're able to go through them and edit them very quickly. So for example, if you need name tags for your kiddos, especially if you have the lower grade kiddos, you can go through and you can edit that. It's already there. All you're having to do is replace that information with whatever it is that you're needing. If you want to meet the teacher, you say, you know what, I have to meet the teacher next week and I would like something for my parents to kind of see. There is this template for you. It's already done. You don't even have to worry about it. But the really cool part is, and the one we're going to go over is going to be Canva AI. We're going to click on Canva AI, and like any other artificial intelligence webpage or platform, the more description that you add to it, the better generation you're going to get. And so because, or for the sake of time, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how and what will come out of it. And like I said, the more information that you add and the more detail, the better response you're going to get. So right now, all we're going to do is generate a presentation of the life cycle of the ladybug. That's all I'm going to write. Like I said, if you want something more, if you want it to be more, okay, I want it to really focus on this stage of the ladybug's life cycle or so on and so forth, you're able to do that. But for the sake of time, we're just going to go through. You are also able to record using your voice. So if your students are using Canva, which I can promise you they are, they're probably adding all kinds of cute pictures and sounds and all kinds of stuff. So if you're not using it and if you are, or if you have that opportunity, do it. They're going to love it. It's really easy for them to use. So you're going to click submit. It's going to open up basically like a chat, like a text message type of layout. And it's going to give you 4 different designs. Now, you can pick from one of those designs. If you say, you know what, I really don't like this, you're more than welcome to generate more, and you're also able to edit. So if you notice, these are the first 4 designs that I got. So I have these 4 right here. And you're going to go through and you say, no, that's not really what I wanted. You can go back again. And the neat part is it does keep this in file. Now, the moment you close the window, though, it all shuts down and it's going to start again. So if you say, oh, I missed it, I should have had the other one, pick it because it's not going to come back anymore, okay? So if you see this is a different 4 that you have, and you can generate it as many times as you want. You can go through and you say, nope, that's still not what I want. You can do it again, or whatever the case is, but you're able to go through and you're able to pick. So I'm going to go through and say, you know what? No, never mind. I like the first one better. You come up upon this particular presentation and you say, yeah, it seems okay. It does need some work though. But now you're talking about you already have something to work with that didn't take you very long. And now it's just kind of plotting in and moving things around. And so that's the way we use the Canva AI on our homepage. It was to generate a whole presentation. Now that you have the presentation, we're going to pretend that this is exactly what we wanted. We're going to open it so that we can make the edits on our end. Now, when you are in this particular section, you can go through it and you can make, like I said, you can edit anything you want. You can remove any of that sort. Now, I'm going to show you how to do the magic right. Now, as you're going in there, you're going to start reading them and you say, you know what, I don't really like the way that it's worded. Let's go ahead and change that. Canva also has the opportunity to be able to make those changes using magic right. So what I'm going to do, if you notice, this is grouped because these 2 sections are grouped. I don't need to change anything from the top. I'm just going to ungroup it. And now I can select this here on the bottom. What I'm going to do is I'm going to double click it. That way you can highlight it. And I'm going to select the magic right pencil right here. So I'm going to click it and it's going to give me options of what it is that I want it to do. So for example, if I want to make a quiz out of it, let's just say this is a section that's really important. I want my kids to kind of remember and internalize that. You're able to generate a quiz out of that section. If you say, you know what, it's not worded the way I want it, but I would like to fix that a little bit. I would like to enhance and maybe make it a little bit longer, or maybe change it to an easier text because I have a pre-K students or so on and so forth. You're able to do that. So right now, that's what we're going to select. But if you notice, there's a lot of other things that you're able to do. You're able to fix the spelling in there. You're able to continue writing. You know what? It wasn't long enough. I need more. You're able to do that very quickly. You just click the button and it will give you options of how it can keep going. So for example, this is what it started with. I want to include that. Let's insert, and it adds it to what it originally had. Now you say, wait a second, now that's too long. My pre-K babies are definitely not going to be able to do that. You just click magic right again. You can rewrite it and say, you know what, maybe I need simpler. Now it says, okay, this is you know what, this, but at a kinder level. It'll generate it and it'll give you a whole other prompt in a more kinder appropriate language. And so you say, you know what, this is perfect. I'm going to replace it. You can replace it based on what you have. So those are some options that you have for Magic Write. Like I said, you're also, if you have Magic Write, you're also able to generate anything you can think of. And so I'm going to kind of jump off of here really quick, but then we'll come back to this. When you go into that home page again, if you open up a doc is basically just like a document. I'm going to go to Magic Write and I'm going to write generate a permission slip to, or let's put to main event for 5th grade field trip, include parent signature, space, phone number, and I don't know, contact information. Anything, right? We're going to click generate and it's going to do the same. It's going to go through remember, the more detail you have, the better it is going to be able to do it for you. So this is an example they gave me. Do you want to work that? Sure, that sounds great. you were talking about you have a whole other permission slip, and you did that in a matter of seconds. You really didn't have to do much other than just include that in there. So I think that's really, really great too. That's also part of the magic, right? So like we had talked about over here, you can access it on your presentations through that little pencil. Or if you go through a doc, you just go to Magic, right? And you tell AI basically what it is that you want for it to generate for you. All right. I forgot to tell this to the first session, so don't tell them I told you, right? Just kidding. We're sharing the love. So, like I said, that was magic, right? And then the last thing we're going to do for AI is we're going to talk about how we can generate pictures. And so we're going to go down to apps right here. And then in apps, we're going to go to Magic Media. You're going to click on Magic Media, and you're going to tell, or you're going to, again, you're going to describe what it is that you want. So, for example, generate a picture of a ladybug sitting on a book at the park, singing its favorite song. You're probably thinking, Janette, that's crazy. Why on earth are you writing that? I'm just trying to show you exactly how specific it could be and how well it kind of transfers out. And so based on what I wrote, then I have different options that I can use. So for example, you say, oh, this is kind of cute. Or, oh, I like this one. It has the music notes. I know it represents. You can click it and then you can generate again. I don't want to lose that picture because what if it doesn't come up again? So this is what I said. This is great, especially for the younger kiddos, because you're able to be as specific and as crazy as you can think of. And then from there, we can, you can come up with a new picture. So now, right now, I'm going to give you about 1 minute. Think of a crazy image that we can come up with. Type it in the chat, at least somebody, one person at least. And then we'll put it into AI and see what results it gives us. I'm going to give you 1 minute. Just anything you can think of. Let's see how many participants we can get in. So just tell me exactly something crazy. I don't know, a unicorn flying across outer space. I'll copy paste your response and then I'll put it on Magic Media to see kind of what pictures we can get. So 1 minute, especially if you're a lower grade teacher, what are some of the things that maybe you kind of have had to draw before and it's a little bit harder? This would be great for maybe morning meeting in pre-K. Okay, we can also put that in there. Let's see. Let's see. What if I want so you could use it in the morning meeting. Flying superhero husky. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna use a flying superhero husky. A flying superhero husky that's going to join the morning meeting in a pre-K classroom. Let's see what it can. A singing horse wearing a tuxedo. I like that one. A chicken posing on top of a tall building. So here you go. These are some of the things. If you see it's a pre-K class, this would be super cute. So you can kind of get that in there. And say, oh, and the kids would love this. If you put this on your morning meeting, maybe you put that in there. It's like maybe just like even a conversation starter just to kind of get the kids going. Let's go back. Let's do the tuxedo. Singing horse wearing a tuxedo. I like the chicken posing on top of a tall building. That would be cute. We'll do that too. Okay, so ooh, this looks like a very handsome singing horse with a tuxedo. That one was a good one. Okay, let's do the last one. A chicken posing on top of a tall building. Okay. Let's see what that chicken's gonna look like. And so just depending on sometimes on how much you include, then that would it might take a little bit longer. So here we have our posing chicken. Let's do this one. This one's pretty cool. So like I said, no matter how crazy of a generator you want, it'll come up with something for you. And if you say, oh, that's not necessarily what I was looking for, you can go back and you can adjust it. And so I think that's great. And so, like I said, this is all available on the Canva. You don't really have to go anywhere. You don't have to click a bunch of buttons. It's just go straight to the app because it's a different app that it's using, and you're able to do that. And so here we have our little models. I'm going to shrink them up a little bit. I think my favorite though was the flying husky and the little kids in the back. Surprised. So we have some right here. We'll put these guys on this side. And then before I move on, because I had said this was the last one, I was lying. Sorry. Well, one other thing that we have is that Canva now has the AI voice. And I actually stumbled upon it by accident while I was making the presentation. I didn't know I had this before. And so if you notice, you already have a script of what you're going to read. Now, some of our students need a text-to-speech, whether it's in STAR or Telpus or whatever the case is. If they're needing that, or even for our babies, we just want them to go through a presentation. Maybe they don't read us as quickly, but they're very good auditory listeners. Then great, fantastic. This is something that you can do. So what we're going to do is we're going to highlight it. We're going to copy the text. And what we're going to do is we're going to, again, it is in apps because you're using a different application to insert into your presentation. So we're going to go to AI voice. And I'm going to paste that on there. You get to select whatever language you want. If you're going to do it in Spanish or if you're going to do it in English or whatever other language you have in your classroom, you're able to select that. And so I'm going to keep it in English because the text that I'm going to type in is in English. And so here you go. And then you get to decide, well, I picked Lisa in the morning. Let me pick Ralph. I will click it. All right, so that's a preview. Do you like his voice? Oh, you know what? Oh, he sounds kind of scary. Let's go to the next one. Oh, perfect. That's the one I want. You select it. You click on it. Sorry. And then you just click generate AI voice. So what it's going to do, it's going to bring you this whole section down right here of where it's going to read it. And so when the students are on that slide, it's going to read it for them. Okay. So you can include that in all of them. You also don't want to do it. You want to do it to where it's the whole thing. So in this case, because there's 3 steps, I would go in and I would type the entire thing into one section. So don't do it by parts because then it's going to start talking all at once. So for example, here, I would go with step 1. And then down here, I would just go space. And then we'll go to step 2. And then you copy paste whatever you have on step 2. Well, we have access to the recording and references. What I mean, I might have access to the recording. Oh yes, you'll definitely have it, and you can come back into this chat, and then you can access it. I'm also going to send you the presentation that I created for the particular session. So just in case you forget, I do have that other presentation that you can listen to. I also pre-recorded that, so you would have options of 2. Yeah. So you'll have options to that, and then and I want to say that's it. So again, all of these AI features, you're welcome. So all of these AI features are here on this left side. You're just going to go down to apps, and then this is where you will find them. So you have the AI voice that we went over right now, and you'll have the magic media. Another one that I'm going to use, or I'm going to go over using this presentation, is going to be the translate. So if you have information or you have any type of file or anything that needs to be translated, even for example, here on the field trip form, you say, you know what, this is great, but I also need to include it in Spanish. You're able to do that. And it's really, really easy. And I'll show you on both. So for example, here, I would just go back again to apps because you're using a different application to be able to work on it. And you are going to click on translate. Once you're on here, you're going to select the language that you are needing. I'm going to click Spanish. And you can even change the tone. Do you want it to sound more professional? Do you want it to sound friendly, inspirational, or informative? Once you click on it, it will definitely change it for you. But for the sake of the presentation, I'm just going to keep it as it is. You can go through it, you can see it, and it'll ask you if you're okay with it, or if you want it to do a different, if you want it to generate again, you also have that option. So I'm going to click original, and then I'm going to translate the entire page, because in this case, this is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to click translate, and it will translate this paper for me. The only thing, and I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you this. you want to make a copy of it. So for example, I have this. You don't have to do it on the presentation, only on the document. So I'm going to go this way. I'm going to copy it. And then, all right, let me see if it's going to let me. If not, I'll show you how to do it through the, no, let me show you how to do it over here. So you're going to go to Canva. So then that section right there, let me refresh so you can see it. It's going to be the first one. So you go to your recent designs. This is the one that you have. This is going to be your English copy. You're going to click on the 3 buttons and you're going to make a copy. And it's going to give you that copy right here. This is the one that we're going to change into Spanish. So again, you already have your English copy right here. Now I'm going to work on my Spanish copy. I'm going to go to apps. I'm going to go to translate. I'm going to click on Spanish. And then I'm going to translate. It'll translate the whole thing for you. I'm going to translate. See, you already have both of them. So the great thing about it now is once you come over on this side, you will have the English one and the copy, and you can even change the name. You know what? No, I'm not going to call it copy. I'm going to call it the Spanish. I'll put Spanish. And then that way you remember one's the English and one's the Spanish, and you'll have both of those permission slips in both languages. And then you'll just print them both out. Now, if you're on the presentation, this one you do not have to make a copy, because what you're going to do is you're going to go to translate and it's going to duplicate the slide and the words. So I'm going to click on Spanish again. My goodness, what's going on with my typing today? You can do the entire presentation. You know what? I have a recent immigrant that just came from Mexico and does not know a word of English, and I want them to be able to understand what I'm going through. They just came in. I don't want to scare them off. You're able to select all of the pages. Or you could say, you know what? They're pretty good, but I've noticed that they get a little bit confused with the information on page 4. I know it has more advanced, maybe academic language, and I want them to be able to understand it in order to be able to proceed into their lab or whatever it is that they have. You're going to click done and you're going to click translate. So we had done number 4. If you notice, this one stays put, and then number 5 turns into the Spanish version of number 4. And so now you have the English and the Spanish. Of course, do not leave them alone just without reading them. Make sure that you go through and you read them out and see what information it may be lacking or what kind of content it is. It's very easy, but you also do need to proofread everything, okay? So I think that wraps up for the Canva AI. Does anyone have any questions on the Canva AI portion? Or any ideas of how you may be able to use it or anything like that? Are you okay so far? Yes, we're good? Okay, so let's keep going. I'm going to close these out. And I'm going to go back into our presentation. And so now what we are going to do is going to be the student reporting page. And so for this one, I am going to send you another link in just a bit, but I'm going to show you how to access that. So the first thing that we are going to want to do is I'm going to go into templates, like those regular Canva templates that are already created. And all I'm going to look for is a colorful table, and I will show you in just a second why. So I'm going to use that colorful Hi, sorry. I'm getting back and for some reason it got disconnected and I couldn't join. Give me 1 sec. Okay, I think we're on again. Can y'all see me? I think you're able to see me again. Okay, sorry. There, okay. Yay, okay, perfect. Thank you. Alrighty, so let's get back to it. Sorry, my internet was acting up. So, like I said, we're going to go over the student reporting. All I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the homepage the way that you access the Canva AI, and then you're going to go into templates. So on the templates, all I'm going to search for is a color table. And then we're going to log in. Sorry, I think it's still trying to generate. It doesn't. Okay, we're just going to play it off. Okay, let's pretend that this is the one that I wanted. This is the one that's it's going to work out perfectly fine. We'll see. And the great thing about it is that you're able to go in and you're able to make the best of it, and you just edit it as best as you can, and there's really no problem with it. So for example, here, I'm going to use this for exit tickets. So I'm going to write my exit ticket right here. Wait, ticket. And I'm going to put the question for my students. So for example, maybe my question is going to be, what is 1 plus 1? And so I am going to have different groups. This could be in the way that you want it, however you want it. And I'll show you in just a bit what I mean. So for example, here, because I have a total of 4 rotations, I'm going to do 1 page per rotation, let's say, and my groups are I'm going to pretend that they are in different colors. So these are going to be all of my groups. And so my students, what they will be able to do is they will be able to insert their responses right in this section right here. Now, Janette, what on earth are you talking about? Again, it goes back to our students need practice speaking into the microphone, into their computers, into anything that's recorded. They get really shy, they get nervous, even if it's written down, and I get it, it's completely normal. And so in this case, what I have taught my kids to do is that they have the opportunity to record themselves. And so this, all I would do is I have this sheet right here. I'm going to share that with them. So I'm going to click on share. And I am going to give access for everyone to use the link. And this is really important. If you don't give them access, they cannot add their responses. Okay. So again, I just go to share. And I'm going to change the access level to anyone with the link. And I'm going to send this to you right now so that way you have access to it as well. I'm going to go to anyone can edit, make sure that that's there, and then you're going to copy that link. Now, I'm going to go and send it into our chat right here. Here. I send it over to you. And if you have, like I said, that second device with you, go ahead and open it up. And that way you can kind of get a glimpse of exactly what it is, see what it is that you are, or what the kids would see on your end. Now, if you notice at the top, you start to see the number of participants that you have. And so let's say that you have a total of 18 students. Well, with you, it would be 19. So you should be able to see that all up on this. So if you say, hey, you know what? It looks like you're doing something, but you're really not. You kind of can call them out and say, hey, you need to make sure you get on task. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to add our video on there. And so what you're going to do on your end, you're going to go to app again, remember, we're using this to be able to help and to be able to add a different application on there. And you're going to go down, and this time you're going to click on videos. So go ahead and click on videos, and this pop-up is going to come up. What you are going to do now is you're going to record yourself. You're going to click on this purple button. You're going to tell your kiddos to do that. Now on my end, you won't be able to see my camera because I'm using it for the Teams call. But your students, they will be able to have access to the camera and the microphone. Now, at the beginning, I do not require my students to use the camera. They get super shy, then they get super focused. Oh, sorry, someone's saying that's the wrong evaluation session. Sorry, we'll get that right now, Miss Reina. And so on there, I don't have them necessarily use it the very first time for the camera, because then they just start focusing on, oh my gosh, I didn't do my hair. And eventually when they become more comfortable recording and using it, then you start allowing them and you make them turn the camera on. And then also make sure that their microphones are not blocked. On their end, it will have a pop-up up here and it's going to ask them if they allow. Make sure that you click allow. For example, if you see this little microphone and there's a line through it, click on it and give them access to it, okay? Because if not, it's going to be, it's not going to work on their end. So now for right now, I'll see, please record, even if it's your name or even if it's silence, but just click record and then see what it does. Click record, and then once you're done, click save and exit. It's not going to allow me to do it because I'm using my camera and my microphone for the Teams meeting, but you all can do it. So go ahead, click on record, and then I'm going to give you about a minute for that, and you're going to start to see that those bubbles start popping up. So those bubbles start popping up, and then you're able to see it on your end. So right now, even if it's just one person, even if it's just your name or say two really quickly, just so that we all can see exactly what it will look like on your end when your students submit their responses. And so now, once you're going in, also remind the students that they have access to everything, and then that they need to be very careful on what they're clicking, because sometimes they get really excited and they start watching their friends' videos, which you also want to encourage because they learn from each other. They start to click on each other's and they might erase it. So have them try and say, you know what, once you're in there, don't start clicking every which way. Just go in, click on your apps, and that's it. That way it avoids any type of confusion or you erasing anything by accident. And so right now, even if it's one person, if you're so kind as to just respond to it, that way we can see it. So remember, we are not doing typing, we're recording. So we're going to go to apps and you're going to record it. This is for the student recording portion. So go to video, and then you're going to record yourself. And you're going to start to see that once people start responding, then the bubbles will start popping up and you will have a collection of your student responses on here. And so what you are promoting is having your students become more comfortable with the recording. That way, when it comes down to STAR or TELPIS, it's not something that's new to them and they've already become used to the fact of. All right, so like you see right now, we had a friend, there you go. Sometimes it happens, just tell them if you erase it by accident, just click undo. And they become better at that. Sometimes it's not something that they're intending to do, it just kind of happens. But just tell them, make sure that you click undo in case it was something that you had erased by accident. So do we have any volunteers to just record something really quick, just so that we could see? Oh, I have a bubble, thank you. Is that Miss Marisol Garcia? Thank you so much for participating. And so this is what it will look like. It'll take a while for it to generate. And so let's just say that Miss Marisol is in the purple group. As you go through, you can show them, hey, you know what? You can't take over all the spots, but remember, you're in the purple group, you move it and you make sure it's centered. And then your students are able to do that on their own. And so at the end, you have a collection of all of their different responses. I don't recommend that you do the preview, because if you click preview and you have 20 responses, all 20 responses are going to start speaking, okay? So just do one at a time on the edit view, and then that way you can go through and you can actually access their response. All you have to do is click play, and then you will see their response pop up, okay? I won't play it just in case you're embarrassed, Ms. Marisol, but thank you so much for participating. But yes, this is what you will have. And like I said, once you have all the students respond, you'll have the entire collection, and it's really neat because then they can go back and reflect on it. You can have them go back and say, you can even do it as an entrance ticket the very first day and say, okay, maybe what was 1 + 1? And let's say, well, I think the answer was 4 on Monday. And then they can go back on Friday and reflect on that. Oh, I thought it was 4, but I didn't realize that we were just adding one finger and it's 2. Or whatever the reflection was, right? But that's also great for them to be able to kind of go back on themselves and how they're able to respond. So like, for example, here I have another friend. Thank you so much for responding. So there's more bubbles. Again, they're able to do it, as maybe in the beginning, it might be a little bit harder because especially if they're little, it takes them a little longer, but you can do it really quickly. You just shrink it up and then move it over. Okay, friend, you're in pink. So you just go ahead, change it over, and you can put them in whichever order it is that you want. And at the end, you just have all of the collections on them. And then as you include this more frequently, it's something that just stays with you on there. So that's really, really great. I would normally do it. I would share it and I would put it on my Google Classroom, and then they would just click on it and they knew exactly where to go. So does anyone have any questions on the student recordings or any ideas of how else you can do it or use it? Anyone? Alrighty, well, let's keep going. Yeah, let's keep going. Now we are on this side. Now we're going to talk about the interactive lesson and how you can make those lessons interactive. And so I'm going to send you the link to this presentation that I'm sharing with you. Thank you, Miss Marisol. They are super, super great. And I know sometimes there's other different tools that are available. If you've used them for anything, let me know. That way you can share and we can all kind of have access to that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the presentation with you. Now, this is a presentation that I have for multiple people. It's not just for one person. So what I'm going to do there is I'm going to create a public view link. This means the public can view it, but they cannot edit. And that's exactly what you want to do. In the previous one, you shared and you allowed them to edit because you were expecting them to add a response. But in this case, you just want them to view and to participate on the questions. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down. If you notice, this is my presentation. I'm going to go to public view link. I'm going to copy that and I'm going to send it to you. Again, you can include this in your Google Classroom, in your stream, however it is. You want to make a QR code. If your kiddos have iPads, you're able to make a QR code and they can scan it really quick. And so I send it to you already. And then I want you to go into slide number 6. And in that slide, you're able to select and you're able to make the interact with however it is that you want. Now I have two things. I have the quiz and I have the polls. And so this one is the quiz. And if you notice, it tells you exactly if the question is incorrect or correct based on what you answered. And then you also have a poll. And so what I want you to do right now is I want you to direct your attention towards the apps. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is not apps. This is in Elements. So go to Elements. And you're going to go down to where it says polls and quizzes, and you're going to click on See All. So if you notice, there's a different set because remember, they do two different things. Quizzes actually gives them a right or wrong response, and the polls is just taking a survey almost. And so these are completely editable. You can change the color, you can change the text. And so for instance, let's just say you are a super girly girl and you want everything to be pink and purple. You know what? I want that to be pink and I'll leave the rest in purple. That's fantastic. You can do that as well. You can also edit what it says. So for example, what is a header? What is it that you're trying to say? Okay, well, what is 1 plus 1? That is my question. And then you can put 1 or 5. Or sorry, 1 or 5. 1 or 2, sorry. Now, you can select it. So for example, right now, I cannot make this my correct answer because it's already my correct answer. So what I can do is I can go to the correct answer, select on mark as correct, and they will tell me exactly which one my correct answer is. You're also able to move them down. You know what? I want to confuse them. Let's move it aside. You're able to move that. You're able to add more options if you want. You know what? I want them to have, I don't know, 6 different choices to pick from. You're also able to do that. The footer, you're able to see what that button says. If you're doing it like an escape room, maybe you can do good luck. And then that's what they will click. Everything, like I said, is editable. It's really easy to do it too. It's not something that you have to work too hard on. And what I like as well is you're also able to either make it private or you're able to see who the students are. So for example, in this, I can collect the responses and I can collect their names, or I can keep the names private. For the sake of just me knowing, I'm going to leave it as response names because it's not something that I need, or it's not something that's necessarily very personal. It's something that I would like to see how they're doing or take a report on that. And so if you say, you know what, I made a mistake, I don't even need it, super easy, you just click delete and it's gone. And so now right now, if you have this in front of you, just select one of the questions in your quiz and select them in your in the polls, and then I'll show you exactly what the responses will look like. I'm gonna give you a couple of seconds to do that. Just select one, and then we'll go from there. So now I'm gonna go to responses. If you notice, I am on the edit. I'm able to make changes right now. I'm going to click on the quiz question that I have, and I'm going to go to responses, and I can see how many people have responded. So for this particular question, I see that I have a total of 6 students that have responded. Let's say I have 20 kids in my class. I'm saying, okay, I'm missing 14 guys. And I noticed that from there, one of those students got it wrong. And I'm going to go down and say, oh, sorry, Janette's the one that got it wrong. I probably need to go and I need to check out what's going on with that particular student for that question. Maybe if it was too easy, or were they just playing around with it? What was going on during that time? And then you're also able to, let me make this bigger. So once you have that, you can also go to link a sheet. You click on that and it's going to give you an Excel sheet almost, and it's going to give you the questions. And of course, it's on Canva. You're able to see and you're able to keep tabs on exactly what question it was. And for example, here's a question, and this is what their response was. So that'll also allow you to do some type of like analysis for any questions that you may need or have, or anything of this sort. And so that is for the interactive slides. You're able to do that for both the quizzes and the and the poll. So again, these are the students that have participated. From there, I want to review my responses. This is what they've all answered. I can open up that link sheet, and then I can see all of my students. I think I need to generate from this morning. Sorry. Generate it. Oh, okay. I opened it this morning, so maybe I need to do it before. Hold on. Had opened it this morning, so now I'm thinking I'm not sure if it's only going to do that or if it's not going to allow me to. This is where you would go in and see all of your responses. I opened it this morning for the sheets, and I don't know if it'll cap it for you or not. I can take a look at that, and then I'll see when it is that it does, or if anybody has used it and would like to tell us why it's not showing me right now. That's interesting. Sorry, I had never encountered that, so this is new to me. Yeah, it's not loading it for some reason. But this is where you would have it. So for now, once everyone has submitted their answer, you can go in and you can check it out. All right, so this is for the interactive presentation, or you can make quizzes and polls. Does anyone have questions or ideas on how we can use that? No, we're good. We're a quiet bunch. Why are we so quiet? It's closer to the end, right? I know you're tired. So let's keep going because I know we're almost done. Oh my gosh. This morning I went super fast, and now this time I was like, oh, I thought we had more time. I was lying to myself. Alrighty, so we're gonna come here. So we have one more. We have the PDF editor. So now on this one is really, really neat. I'm not gonna lie to you, I am a Mac person. I am the worst with Windows computers, but I try to use Windows as much as possible because I know sometimes I am trying to help a teacher out, and if I don't know what the computer looks like, then it's really difficult for me. So I try to use it as much as possible, but sometimes it gets me really, really frustrated. This year, the most frustrating things that I've had encountered was with Adobe. And so I'm going to show you that. I have something, let's see on the chat. Great for quick check-ins instead of waiting till the end and they didn't understand. Yeah, so perfect. You can put that in some sort of like maybe morning check-in or morning meetings like somebody had said they had for pre-K. You're also able to do that late in the afternoon. Still getting that. Yes, I totally understand this process. And so this is also really, really great. And it's very easy, like I said, for your students just to click the button and kind of go, especially if you have little ones. If you have tablets, it could be a little bit easier just because the kiddos are just kind of tapping instead of having to use the mouse. And then I know our first grade teachers are also very good about, because our kiddos transition into their Chromebooks in first grade. And so kind of they have a touch screen, some of them, or they kind of have to get into it, but it's easier for them to just kind of click and go, and you get an actual feedback from them as compared to maybe if they feel like they're on the spot and they don't want to respond. That could be also a really great way to kind of get there into them. So thank you, Ms. Martinez. And then from there, what we're going to do now is we're going to go into the PDF editor. Like I said, sometimes Adobe gives us the hardest time. I don't know if it was just our grade level. I mean, some of the teachers in my grade level or not, but we just had the hardest time and I was not very happy with it. But then I realized that Canva can actually edit different documents. Now, these two documents are the same, but I'm going to show you the way that they're different. This is an original PDF. This is a snippet of it. So now when you are doing the PDF file, if it's not working, it's probably because it was a screenshot of an actual PDF file, and then they just turned it into a PDF file, okay? So if you're going through maybe, I don't know, the curriculum, and then you say, I can't edit it for some reason, it's probably that. It's probably that it's just a screenshot. And I'm going to show you right now, and you'll be able to see the difference. So we're going to pretend that I moved schools and now I want to start a new cheer presentation or a new cheer squad in my new school, but I want to use things that I had from before, from 2023 and 2024, and I want to use the same thing, but we are no longer at Palacios, so I can change that. I can erase it if I needed to. I can add font. You know what? This is definitely not the year, so I'm going to change it up to the year. It's very easy to do that. I can omit things. I can, oh, here it is. These are wrong too. And now I'm probably not with Miss Martinez or B Martinez. Now I'm probably with A Martinez, whatever the case was. You're able to change these out, but do make sure that you are very careful, because if you notice, sometimes when you make that conversion, it might add things or it might move things or it might scrunch things together. So if you notice here, it added a Q in front of all of my little indicators first, and then it started to put words together. So just kind of go through it and see wherever it is that you need to make those changes. But it's a lot easier than having to go through Adobe and it giving you a hard time, or having to type the whole thing again. And so this is the original PDF file. Now you can go back over on this side. This is the one that's a photo. I'm going to drop it in, and you're going to see that I'm not going to be able to make any changes because now it's just one big picture. So if you grab it and you're trying to make changes and it's just doing this, that means that that file was a snippet of an original PDF, and they just took the screenshot and saved it as a PDF file. Okay, so don't get mad at me if it doesn't work. It's probably not that the Canva app is not working. It's just that that PDF file is a picture. I know it was really, really fast and furious. I know it was a lot of information in just 55 minutes, but does anyone have any questions or any ideas on how we can use this in your classroom? Or have you already had type of like a little spark go off and say, hey, I can use this for this? Let me know. I know Miss Martinez had just put out the session code evaluation, links to the YouTube channels that will be available, not now. I know it'll take them a while because they do have to convert everything, but once those are ready, you kind of can go back in there. You will have links to everything. If you need a recording at the end and you say, you know what, I remember she talked about this, I just can't remember how or when or why, come back into this chat and you'll have access to that as well. If you have no more questions, you are dismissed. But thank you so much for joining my session. My name again is Janette Mijares. Let me put this up for you again. I'm at Palacios Elementary. If you need to send me a Teams chat, my name or my email is janette.mijares@psjisd. Feel free to contact me. Let me know of anything for you need help with anything. I know Miss Reina had said that she used it for GT projects. Those are really awesome. They have a lot of different features that the kiddos can use. So yeah, thank you all so much. Anything that you can think of or any questions you have, please, 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 please let me know. I learn from you, you learn from me, and that's just kind of what makes us better teachers. Have a great Saturday. I know our summer is coming to an end, but thank you so much. Bye. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you all so much. I'm looking at you all on this side, but thank you. Have a great afternoon. Enjoy your last session. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Rodriguez. Thank you. Bye. Have a great afternoon. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Bye. Thank you. Bye. Thank you all so much. Goodbye. Bye. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Araguin. Bye. Thank you. Thank you. don't forget to log out, because if not, we're gonna have a long recording of the presentation. Bye. Thank you all. Bye. Thank you all so much. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye, Ms. Gonzalez. Thank you, Ms. Olivares. Goodbye.